What is up everyone, Barricade here and bringing you guys episode 5 of Gears of War Profiles. Today I'm going to be talking about Damon Baird. Let's go ahead and finish off Delta Squad. I'll definitely be talking about other characters in the future, but let's just finish off Delta Squad today. So with Damon Baird, his story is a little sad to be thinking of, like not sad in like a Dom sad way, but in sad as an ironic way, which kind of fits to his character. So to start us off here, the thing about Damon Baird is ever since he was young, he was always a genius. He was always extremely smart to the point that he would just pass all his exams, pass everything in school with little to no effort, and all he did during his free time was work on machines and things of that nature. He just always had that mindset for tinkering with things, wanting to create robots, and just always had that mentality. It was just something that he really loved doing ever since he was a young kid. And while he was doing this, he even stated that he wanted to eventually become an engineer and actually go to engineering school. But the thing is, he was born into a rich family and his parents forbade him for doing so. They really didn't want him to become an engineer. They wanted him to be actually a part of the coalition of government's army. They actually forced him and stated that if he didn't join the military, he was not going to be given his inheritance. So he would simply not get all the money and everything that he would be getting from his family once they passed away. So he decided, alright, I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm just going to join the COG and do what I should be doing, like my parents say. He never really had too great a relationship with his parents, but he did respect them and did, listen to them. He wanted that inheritance and he also respected their wishes. Ironically, the day that he joined the COG was Emergence Day, and his parents were killed. So all of that was kind of pointless because of the fact that he didn't necessarily need to join the COG, and the very day that he did, Emergence Day happened, and his parents, the people that forced him to join the COG, were murdered. So it's kind of a sad thing to really sit there and thinking about. But the thing is, Baird was never the type of person that would like mourn or get all super depressed or anything like that, because he was never really too close to his parents to begin with. Actually, throughout the novels, when they would ask him about stuff like that, he kind of blew it off, honestly, and never really acted like he was sad or anything. It wasn't like people like Dom, who loved his parents and his family and his kids, or even Marcus. Well, even though he wasn't too close with his father, Marcus did care about his father a lot, and even did something as crazy as risk his life and disobeyed orders to try to save him. Baird was kind of, sad, kind of like a little bit of like a whatever type of attitude, but that's Baird as a character. One part of the novels that comes to mind is that he kind of felt resentment towards his parents because he pretty much had to sell his dreams. He basically said, well, I wanted the inheritance, and he basically had to push his own dreams on hold because they wanted him to be part of the COG. Kind of reinforcing the fact that they didn't care too much for his dreams at all. So much so that he even made a little bit of an indirect reference to that. I believe there's a part in Gears of War 3 where they're fighting over the barges. Baird says something along the lines of, my mom wanted me to go out in a blaze of glory like this, the bitch. So kind of like saying like she wanted him to be in the army, and almost to the point that he thinks that she'd rather see him fighting locusts and risking his life than simply living his dream. And due to this, it kind of shows that he didn't really have too much closeness to them at all, if anything. Shortly after Emergence Day, Baird was in his barracks where he suddenly got attacked by two men while he was in the bathroom. And they literally were jumping him. Baird was fighting for himself, trying to protect himself. And he was actually doing somewhat decent, even though it was 2 against 1. And while he's fighting them, out of nowhere, another gear comes into the bathroom and basically breaks up the fight and tells the other guys to screw off. And the person that broke up the fight was actually Cole. This is how Baird and Cole met, because Baird was being jumped. Cole actually asked him, why were these guys trying to beat you up? Turns out that Baird's father was some form of higher up. I believe he was either a lawyer or even a judge, and he basically caused one of their relatives to be sent to prison. They were angry about some form of sentence that his father did, and they took it out on Baird. The thing that's funny though is shortly after this happened, Baird realized that the person that saved him was Cole, the Coltrane, the one that was part of the Cougars. And he actually straight up told Cole, I'm more of a Sharks fan. And the Sharks were actually a team that competed against the Cougars in a very huge game. I'm guessing something as similar as like the Super Bowl or something, because it was over a huge trophy. And if you remember in Gears of War 3, I believe it was actually, there's a part where they go to the stadium and Cole says something along the lines, I think he's talking to Clay actually, and he says something like, if you didn't know, Carmine, Baird was a Sharks fan, and he's still bitching about it, or something like that, basically like saying that Baird is still pissed because the Cougars won the game. And then Baird says something along the lines like, oh, the referee was blind, or there was a blind referee or something. I guess the referee didn't see something that the Cougars did that they shouldn't have did. So it's kind of like a funny moment knowing that even though Baird is friends with Cole, he actually liked the team that the Cougars played in like the final championship, and the team that he was actually rooting against was the Cougars. So that's the thing that's kind of funny. It's just kind of ironic how they're friends even though he actually hated the Cougars. There isn't really too much information throughout the original trilogy for Gears of War when it comes to Baird, other than that he simply didn't like the Cougars, and he had the situation with Gears of War Judgment, where he fought for Howell Bay and everything like that. Throughout the trilogy, he always worked on certain things, always helped them fix, like the rides that they would go in. He even would work on Jack, and also do many various other engineer-based things to help them out throughout their adventures. The major thing after the Gears of War trilogy was that he founded DB Industries, where he simply started making robots and things of that nature. Their original purpose was actually for construction purposes, and also to do certain things that would be dangerous for humans, like scouting or anything like that outside of the settlements, to prevent further deaths of other humans. But unfortunately, after Jin reigned into power, she turned a huge portion of them into combat. Initiated robots that would, be used as police, and also would eventually turn around and hunt down JD and Kate and Dal and even Marcus, whom originally he never wanted to hurt. Obviously, Baird cares about Marcus and his son and their friends, and he would never turn against them in that manner. All of that was completely Jin's fault. It was shown towards the end of Gears of War 4 that Damon Baird actually got with Samantha Byrne, so they actually have a romantic relationship with one another. And the thing that's weird though is even though they're together, he doesn't like to say that they're married. If you remember, I think Marcus, or it was either Marcus or Cole, one of them says something along the lines of, hey, your wife's here, and he's like, shh, like he doesn't want to say it. So I don't know what it is with them. Like, they're obviously together, but for some reason Baird doesn't want to give it an official title, and it's like, dude, you're old as hell now, like, stop being a freaking weirdo. But yeah, overall guys, that is Damon Baird's profile. Fortunately, not too much information when it comes to Baird's past. He was just kind of a little bit of an ironic asshole who just kind of had a lot of situations that happened to him at the wrong place at the wrong time, even as simply as him joining the COG on Emergence Day. So the next thing I'm going to talk about here is simply the Gears facts, the 3 facts about the character that I always throw out towards the very end of the video. Gears fact 1. Damon Baird stands at a 6 foot even height. He's actually not too tall. He's actually one of the shorter characters out of the Delta Squad, which is kind of shown when you actually take a look at all of them. You can tell he's one of the shorter characters in Delta Squad. Gears fact 2. Baird seems to have a really bad rap when it comes to women. And I mean really bad rap. Ironically, when he first met Samantha Byrne, he actually hated her guts, and he was actually very rude to her, and even making a sexist joke at her expense. In the novels after Gears of War 2 and before Gears of War 3, there's a part where her and Baird have to actually watch over a boat filled with fishermen just to protect them. And as soon as they get on the boat, he actually makes a joke saying that he brought the maid and points at Sam. This made all the fishermen laugh and pissed off Samantha Byrne very badly. And Baird has actually been punched by women several times in the face due to his bad mouth. He actually got punched in the face by Bernadette Mataki due to his smart aleckness, and also got punched in the face by Alex Brand. So Baird is not very liked by the female gender. It's actually kind of a little bit of a mystery to me how he was able to score Sam. Gears fact 3. Baird has always always wear a pair of goggles. I know that something sounds kind of simple. You're probably like, well, duh. But the thing is, when it comes to him and his goggles, he loves those things religiously, even to the point that even when he first originally joined the COG, he was told by his commanding officer to take off the goggles and put on a helmet. Baird complied and put on a helmet, but as soon as his commanding officer was out of sight, he threw that thing off and put his goggles back on. Honestly, I don't know what it is. I'm thinking it's something to do with him engineering, always trying to mess with things, sparks, prevent him from going in his eyes or something. That's the only really thing I can think of. But regardless, Baird has always worn goggles, and he would even disobey a commanding officer to keep those things on his head. Anyways, guys, if you guys like this video, please definitely hit that like button and subscribe and tell me what you guys think about today's episode of Gears of War Profiles. What do you think about Damon Baird? Is he one of your favorite characters? I always thought he was hilarious. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching and take it easy. Thanks for watching this video. If you want to see my most recent Gears of War video, hit that link on the left. If you want to see any of my other content, hit that link on the right. Thanks for watching, guys.